Welcome to Community America Ballpark. I'm Matt Fulks, Director of Media Relations, along with Lincoln Salt Dogs manager Ken Oberkfell. And, first off, and you just remind me that I have to ask you this. I talked to Frank about it the other night. The T-Bones had 5 home runs in one inning a couple nights ago. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I never have at any level. I know it's set an American Association record book, and actually after the game I came in and congratulated my pitchers for getting in the record book. So it was, but it's strange. It happens sometimes, and for some reason the ball's flying out of this park.
Well, and I asked Kenny this after the game. Which is more impressive to you as a longtime baseball guy? Is it the back-to-back-to-back, or is it the 5 in the inning?
For me, it'd be the back-to-back-to-back. I think, but 5 in an inning's pretty impressive too. For the pitchers to be out there that long, that's what's impressive.
Okay, so mainly what we talk to Ken about is his major league career. Played 16 years. And I wrote it down, St. Louis, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Houston, San Francisco Giants, and California.
Right.
Played in a couple World Series. Most people remember you for your years with the Cardinals. And if I'm not mistaken, you were a St. Louis guy, weren't you, growing up?
Yeah, I grew up in the St. Louis area. I grew up over in Illinois, on the Illinois side of the Mississippi, but I was 20. Actually, it took me 25 minutes to get to the ballpark, parked, and in the clubhouse. So it was kind of neat playing in your hometown for 7 years, and I grew up a Cardinal fan, so it was like a dream for me to have the opportunity to play for him and then to play in a World Series for him. It was pretty cool.
Well, and Frank and I have talked about this with his years with the Royals. Was there extra pressure at all playing in St. Louis, or was it enjoyable?
Well, there's a lot of tickets you had to leave. That's what it was. No, it was enjoyable. I loved it. I mean, the St. Louis fans are really the Midwest fans are just great baseball fans. They appreciate the game, and so it was pretty neat playing at home and playing in front of your hometown fans. There wasn't pressure in as far as like the parents expect you to do this, friends, all you did this and that. It was more, okay, can you give me tickets for the game tonight?
Now, you played for some great managers, and when we talk about St. Louis, obviously the first one that comes to mind for us here in Kansas City would be Whitey Herzog, and I've talked to plenty of Royals from the 70s who he was a player's manager, wasn't he?
No question about it. He took over in St. Louis for Ken Boyer, who really probably gave me my first opportunity to play. And when Whitey came there, he was just, the first thing he said is, "Hey guys, I'm here to manage. You guys just play the game, play hard. It's all I expect. I don't have rules. Be on time and give me 100%." And this man was just the stories he could tell, and he keep you laughing all the time. But the one thing I really remember the most about Whitey is the way he communicated with all his players. I mean, he had 25 different personalities, and he knew how to handle each one of them. And you just I can't say enough for him. I've played for a lot of great managers, but by far he's the best.
Well, and one thing Willie Wilson's told me, at least the way he handled the Royals in the late 70s, was he'd say, "Hey guys, you go play the first 7 innings. The last 2.5, 3 innings are mine."
That's exactly what he'd do. I mean, he'd sit in the dugout during the games with us sometimes, and you'd talk to him a little bit. But when that 6th inning came around, he was already in the 8th inning. I mean, he was always thinking ahead, and he had tunnel vision then, and it was he was concentrating on, okay, what's the matchup going to be in the 8th and 9th inning, and he was always a step ahead of everybody, and I learned a lot from him, and I try to manage some of my managing style comes from Whitey.
Well, and let's talk about a couple of the other guys, because you had Joe Torre, you had Jim Leyland, Chuck Tanner, who obviously had great years in Pittsburgh before going to the Braves, and then Roger Craig in San Francisco.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate in my career to play for some of the guys I played for. I mean, obviously Whitey's a Hall of Fame manager. Joe Torre's going to be a Hall of Fame manager. I feel Jim Leyland's going to be a Hall of Fame manager. So I've been very fortunate, and I learned a lot from all of them. I didn't get to play for Leyland that much. I was there 2 months playing for him, and Torre was a half a year. I got traded to San Francisco in '89 and played for Roger, who was just a great players manager. So again, I was very fortunate. But when it comes right down to it, the best I played for was Whitey.
Well, and you mentioned San Francisco and the '89 World Series. That a lot of people remember for an obvious reason, the earthquake. But what stands out to you from that experience, that moment?
Well, I just got finished running, getting loose, and was trying to concentrate, getting ready for the game, and the ground starts shaking. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I, being from the Midwest, I'm not used to earthquakes, so first thing I did was sprint to the middle of the field, and we found out it was an earthquake. And it was kind of funny because I was kidding with Roger Craig. I said, "Boy, you really shook the lineup up today." And it was a bad situation with everything that happened out there. But our claim to fame that year was Oakland beat us 4 straight, but it took them 2.5 weeks.
Now you ended with California, and you were telling me before we started taping this, how did you end up, or why did you end up playing your last year with the Angels?
Well, I was going to retire. I was pretty much done. I felt I was more a utility guy, and Whitey ended up going to California to be the general manager there with Gene Autry. I guess they would go back from when Whitey managed in the Angels a long time ago. So, Whitey called and said, "Are you interested in playing?" And I said, "Well, yeah, Whitey, I'd always play for you, if the opportunity came." So I said, "What's one more year?" I've never been to the American League, so it's going to be nice to be in the American League one time. And it was pretty enjoyable, and it was nice because I got to see all the ballparks.
Now, Royals fans will remember Fred White's call, and the great Fred White, who passed away just last week, but his great call of George Brett's 3,000th hit, and you were at second base for that hit.
Yeah, I don't know why they had me playing second base that day. No, I actually was, and what was amazing about that is I know George. I knew George from playing against him in spring training and just getting to know him and stuff. But what impressed me is he got 4 hits that game. I mean, he was 4 hits away from 3,000, and everybody thought he'd get it when he got back to Kansas City. And what's he do? He goes out and gets 4 hits, and fortunately, I'll always be in the Royals highlight reel, I guess, just because George hit a bullet about knocked my head off, and it was 3,000th, and believe me, I was trying to catch it because I didn't want him to get 3,000 against us. But he was just a great player, and to do that the way he did it was pretty impressive.
Well, and of course, when people were watching at the time, they thought, "Oh man, that might have been an error or whatever." But you were saying before we started taping that it about took your head off.
It basically did. It was a bullet, and I thought I was going to catch it, and all of a sudden it took a hop backwards and just kind of went over my head a little bit, and I'm like, "Holy cow, man!" I knew he could hit, but I didn't know he could hit it that hard sometimes. But it was, like I said, I'll always be in a Royal highlight reel, but. George was just a great player, and I guess it's kind of neat that he got it, and I was on the film.
Well, there you go. He is Ken Oberkfell. I'm Matt Fulks. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for your memories, and I guess at any time during the season when you guys aren't playing the T-Bones, we wish you good luck throughout the season.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.